Welcome to Inktober 2025, everyone. This is day 8 of the Zentangle prompts, and today's prompt is called Cochombros. I will show you that in a moment. I just wanted to show you my supplies because as far as for what this Zentangle looks like, I'm going to be doing it a little bit different, more organic and quirky than what you may have either already know about the Zentangle or may have seen. As far as for my supplies, I do have my gum eraser. I just have this brush here that because this one does make some crumbs, just to go ahead and wipe that off. I have my Staedtler Mars Lumograph. This is a 4B graphite pencil just to add some shading, and then the blending stump or tortillon to go ahead and blend that graphite. As far as for my ink tools, I have these Micron PN pens in different colors. I believe I got this at Hobby Lobby. It came in this set of 6. There's pink, looks like blue, purple, brown, red, and black. And these are what the nibs look like. It's called P as in Peter, N as in Nancy for plastic nib. So it is nicer to go on mixed media paper, especially if you have that. And the reason why I'm using these tools is because of how we're going to break down the Zentangle. I think it's easier perhaps to see this in how I drew it. So let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. So this is Cochombros, and it's very angular. And I'm not going to say I'm a perfectionist, but I do like realism as opposed to abstract art. So if something doesn't look right, it kind of frustrates me. So that's why I decided to show you what it looks like. But in the video, I'm going to be doing it more organic, where the lines are curvy. And I think this is more, for me, more meditative and relaxing and fun. But if you want to learn how to do it this way, you most certainly, there are, I'm sure, videos out there on how to draw it this way. I think for me that, let's say I one day wanted to pull out my journal and maybe create this Cochombros, in the future, this is probably the way I'm going to do it. It would not be this way. So if you want to follow along, let's go ahead and break it down and get started. I am not going to be drawing the Cochombros on the calendar that I have, or on the cardstock here, or on the bijou tile for this particular video, because this one may take a little bit longer and there's quite a few more steps. So maybe I will turn this way. So first thing I'm going to get started with is my pencil. I think it's best if I draw it in pencil first and then ink it in. So, and I'm not drawing that square that usually, or a rectangle or a box that I usually draw. So I'm just going to go ahead with the pencil and come on down, trying to draw an X where, and I may erase these lines because this already looks a little bit wider, but then here in the middle, I'm just going to put another wavy line. And I think I am going to fix this because this went a little bit more off to the side than I would have liked, because I'm trying to keep this at least somewhat equidistant or equidistant. So we have that like this. And maybe I will ink this in just so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, just like that. Probably don't want that little triangle there, but that's okay. All right, so that would be the first step. Now the next step is I'm going to make the points. So sort of like a V for each of those points. This one went a little bit off. Definitely turn your page if you need to. All right, so let me take a different color. And ink those in. So here's our 6-pointed star right now. And now the next thing is from this point, we're just going to go ahead and extend it. So I'm just taking my pencil here and extending it. Let me make sure I'm doing it the right way. Yes, I'm just extending it that way. So just following this line and extending it, following this line and extending it. So we've got this looking like this. So at each point coming that way. And I'm not going to ink that one in right now. Now the next step is from this point, we are going to come across this way. So you're coming parallel to this line here. So just come across that way. Again, if you need to turn your page to make it easier, just come across that way. So again, this is the line and we're just coming across that way. All right, so we've got our lines there. And so I think what I'll do is I'll start to ink these in. So I'm just going to use my purple. And so then from here, I'm just going to, let's actually do all the lines first. Maybe that might be easier. Let me just let you know that when you have these lines, you're eventually going to mirror this one. So you may want to come out just a little bit more because then you're going to go ahead and tie these 2 points together. And of course, I'm doing this with the color pen, but if it was ink pen, it might be easier than just to see where those lines are at. Okay, so we've got those all inked in. And now the next thing I'm going to do is just, so this one here, for example, I would want to come out just a little bit more because I am going to be drawing the line going this way. So I'm just going to come across here and go like that. And then from here, I'm just going to come down. So it's almost like a V. So again, just coming across, let's make this a little bit longer here, and then just coming down that way. And having that little pencil line there, I can then go ahead and extend it and then just bring it down. Okay. And this, my friends, is Cochombros. So I'm going to erase these lines, all these extra pencil lines that can be seen. I just have my trash can, so I'm gonna go ahead and dust that off. And I could go over this with black. So let me go ahead and do that this way. It just, you can see it all as one color. Okay, so here we are. And I went over it with my brush pen. So this has a flexible, thicker nib so that you can see that there. And it's not as, here the lines that I did were more wavy, or wavier I should say, than what's here, but again, not straight like the other one. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and shade in, add some graphite, so maybe here. And perhaps here. And that will give it that dimension. So for example, as if this is folded this way, depending on how you put your shading, give it that optical illusion effect. So I hope you give this a try. Don't be discouraged by it. And I also like to add a little bit of shading here. Oh, and that will give it like an illusion, whoops, as if it's indented. So I will add this to the calendar, and I will do a bijou tile on it. And then I'll show that in the next video. I think with the graphite, it gives it another effect. Just a little bit more whimsical. Perhaps some more here. So let me know in the comment sections what you think about this particular tangle, and if you think that you'll give it a try. Do you like this more whimsy effect? See how that with the graphite it just gives it a different illusion. And let me just go ahead and write here. Cochombros. And I'll just put here October 25. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. Take care. I will see you in the next one. Bye.